Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good whatever time it is, wherever you are, whoever you are, and welcome once again to Nerd Week Live, the show in which we talk about nerd news that has happened over the past week since the last Tuesday's show. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, first-person shooter on Facebook and Instagram as a cosplay photographer, a Burley underscore adopter on Twitter, and a couple of other places doing various other things. And before we get into tonight's topics, it's a decent-sized roster, but I am flying solo, and I'm also not feeling that great, so it'll probably be a very quick run. Definitely welcome the people that are already into the chat. Harry Brady, welcome back to the show. And what are my thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder teaser? That's the final topic. So I'll be talking about that in about 30 minutes or so. So stay tuned. But before we get to that, we'll quickly blast through our promos. Two things we'd like you to check out. Our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/nerdcaliber. If you have an account, we'd really love to have you follow us there. And also our Patreon page, patreon.com/nerdcaliber. You might be seeing a theme here. Pretty much everything we do is just Nerd Caliber after whatever the URL is. Check it out. If you want to become a patron, gosh, we'd love to have you. 3 tiers, $2 for the lowest tier. We use the money to go to cons now that we're going to cons. And we'll be talking about that at the end. But let's jump into the show. Harry, that is the main topic. We always save the main topic for the very last thing. What the first topic is news related to this. If you do not play D&D, and you may not know that this is one of the things that an awful lot of D&D players have been looking at over the last couple of years because of the pandemic. This is a virtual character sheet, one of the many tools in the D&D online playing tool set from the company D&D Beyond. Well, the news is that Hasbro, the owner of Wizards of the Coast, which is the owner of everything D&D, went and bought D&D Beyond for $146.3 million. Why did it do this? Well, D&D Beyond is the most well-known of these virtual tool sets. And so a tool set gives you a bunch of things that allow you to virtually play the game, including these online character sheets, digital dice rolling tools, things like that. It is not a full, what apparently the industry calls a VTT, a virtual tabletop game experience, in that it doesn't have built into it, like this Zoom, for video and audio interacting with other players. That would still have to happen over Zoom or Skype or whatever it is that you and your fellow campaigners all decide that you want to use. Well, apparently, according to an article that was linked to me on the site arkenforge.com, Hasbro, or Wizards of the Coast, has been working on making a full-fledged virtual tabletop experience for more than a year now. Based on various posts about job listings and things like that. Harry Brady, Dungeons & Dragons is a very good game, and I'm excited for the film in the works. You know what? I am too. If only because they've got to do better than the last one, which was in the early 2000s or around 2000 or whatever. Amazing cast, absolute garbage movie. So apparently what Hasbro decided to do was, in one fell swoop, just get most of the tool sets they need while developing internally or potentially also buying the online communication technology that they need to make a complete D&D game. Ivan, welcome to the chat there on the Facebooks. Tom Hanks did it better. Just kidding. You know what? I like that Tom Hanks Monsters and Mayhem, I think was the title. Because, of course, they didn't have the license to D&D at the time. I like that better than I liked the D&D movie. Even though it had such a better cast. Well, I don't know. Tom Hanks, this was like his first movie, as I recall, Monsters and Mayhem. Anyway, again, that doesn't really have anything to do with this. This is about the owner of D&D buying the most popular tool set for playing online with your friends. Apparently, it must be that they saw that even when the pandemic is over, this is probably going to continue to be a very big thing. People playing virtually just because it's so much more convenient than getting everybody together on game night. So, where this goes, I think it's pretty clear. Within a year or two, D&D is going to roll out its own virtual tabletop complete game experience. D&D Beyond is the only one that actually had licensed the ability to use the D&D logo, which is why when I put this up in our chat group, most of the team members thought that this was already owned by D&D because they had licensed the ability to use the actual D&D logos. They have the basic rules set, which no other tool set has. And D&D is one of the very few games that does not publish and will not publish PDFs for people to read of its rules and its rule books. So, yes, it's probably taking everything in-house. My guess is you'll probably start seeing, once they do release the full virtual tabletop thing, Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast starting to sue some of these other virtual tool sets. But it's their game. So the fact that they've been letting people do this is, pretty cool. The second topic is coming right up, Harry. If you would like to actually, run the flow of the show, please do. Maybe you don't like D&D or this topic. That's okay. Anyway, or you're rushing to get to the Thor: Love and Thunder. I get that too. Second topic, you're going to love this one, Harry, if you haven't seen it. That is, of course, Jason Momoa as Aquaman from one of the versions of Justice League. It doesn't matter. The news here is that Jason Momoa has been cast to star in a live-action adaptation of the video game Minecraft. Yeah. Now, I get why they would do it. Minecraft is the largest selling game in history. 238 million copies since the game was released in 2011. So in 11 years, 238 million copies of this thing. And at first I was like, okay, and obviously they're taking it as a sort of a comic look at it. And I was like, you know what, this is just going to suck so hard. Jared Hess, who directed Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, is going to be directing this movie. So this could be just weird enough to make it work. We'll see. I'm still really on the, God, this is a dumb idea fence, but, who knows? Again, it's an insanely popular franchise, so Minecraft alone will bring in at least an initial wave of viewers. Whether or not it will bring in anybody else outside of the Minecraft players or like real Jason Momoa stans, who knows? I'm predicting this is going to be Battleship. So, but no idea when it's coming out. They literally just announced it. Yeah. So we have no idea. But no. At least we have Dune Part 2 coming up. So more quality Jason Momoa stuff. All right, here's an adaptation I am 100% behind. A game adaptation. Netflix is going to be making a animated series based on the Oatmeal's card game, Exploding Kittens. And a game, too. It's actually a video game that you can play on Netflix, which is actually coming out before the series. And anything the Oatmeal does is hilarious. This is being produced and animated by Bandera Entertainment, which is the company founded by Mike Judge and Greg Daniels. So, dang. I mean, that's, animation comedy gold right there. And the voice actors, Tom Ellis from Lucifer, Abraham Lim from The Boys, Lucy Liu, Mark Proch from What We Do in the Shadows, the energy vampire. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this a lot. The game is launching in just a month. But I believe I saw on a post that the Oatmeal did on Twitter or something that the series is next year. As in 2023. So I'm 100% for this. Ivan, I think getting back to the Momoa stuff, hopefully he just plays the game on the big screen. It could be Lego Movie good or Emoji Movie bad. Best case, Free Guy. True, except Free Guy wasn't based on any actual existing intellectual property, which I think gave them the freedom to do a little bit more with stuff. Harry, Jason Momoa has replaced Steve Carell in the Minecraft movie casting. Yeah, he was named for it for a while there, but, from what I understand, this Minecraft movie was in development for, many, many years. It doesn't say how long. I think we may have actually talked at one of the previous shows about Carell being named for it. Exciting to watch a CGI hybrid Minecraft live action film. Okay, I'm glad you're excited, Harry. I think it's going to be just unmitigated garbage. Unless they let Jared Hess really go full on Napoleon Dynamite weird with it. Then I'm on board. All right, moving on to our next topic. This is, of course, a screen grab from the DLC of The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, the Blood and Roses DLC. And the news is that the next-gen update that CD Projekt Red had in the works for The Witcher 3 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X has been delayed. They've announced that it won't be coming in the first half of 2022, which is what they said. And, in fact, they did not announce any new release window, so it is technically, I guess, indefinitely delayed. Now, the reason they did this is it was in the hands of Saber Interactive, which was the company that did the port of The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt for the Nintendo Switch, which was a big hit, worked really well. It was a really good port. But CD Projekt brought it back into their own development studio. And the quote is, quote, "We have decided to have our in-house development team conduct the remaining work on the next-gen version of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. We're currently evaluating the scope of work to be done and thus have to postpone Q2 release until further notice. We'll update you as soon as we can. Thank you for understanding." Now, one could guess that maybe they're planning on actually building it on Unreal Engine 5, which is what they announced for the upcoming Witcher 4. But that means they would have to remake everything. And, from the ground up. And their Red engine, which is used for The Witcher 3, still is one of the best looking graphic engines in gaming. This is not a cutscene. This is an actual in-game screenshot from a game that came out in 2015. And it still holds up with some of the best stuff that's out there. So, I'm not sure why they didn't even hint at a time frame, and I don't really think that some of the speculation out there that they're going to be going to Unreal Engine 5 makes a lot of sense. That means this, update would be put off not just no longer in the second quarter of this year, but years and years down the road. So, we'll have to see. I'll keep an eye on this. Not that I have a next-gen console here, and I do have all of the 4K high-res textures that have been put out since then for The Witcher 3 for playing on PC, and it just looks fantastic. Harry Brady, that sounds interesting. I don't know which one that's referring to. And then Goodwell Soon? Was that Get Well Soon referencing to me? Where I am still a little under the weather. Either way. All right. So Witcher 3 Next Gen is delayed, and we have more Witcher news. This is actually from the Netflix series. That is Robbie Amell, who you currently can see in a pretty popular Amazon series, Upload, but this is from when he played Firestorm in the various CW series, The Flash, The Legends of Tomorrow, and so on. And the news is that he is going to be joining The Witcher 3, or The Witcher Season 3 on Netflix, and he's going to be playing a character named Galton, who is a leader of a band of Scoia'tael. And if you don't know the Witcher game or book lore, the Scoia'tael are guerrilla fighting elf freedom fighters, fighting against the injustice and prejudice of people who are killing elves. So that's pretty cool. Harry, Witcher 3 is the best game ever made. I don't know. The Mass Effect games are really, really good. The BioShock games are unbelievable as far as story and gameplay. But The Witcher 3 is one of my top 3, I would say, for sure. I just last month completed a third playthrough and discovered a lot of really interesting things, which I had not run across before. Tyrion Lannister. The fact that Ermion, the druid, particularly in the quest where she has the Mask of Ouroboros, calls her Jennifer every time. Calls Yennefer Jennifer. If you've got a save on that part, go back and watch that. It's hilarious. Anyway. So Robbie Amell will be joining this. There's a few other people they named who I don't really know. The one that really interests me is that there's a young actor named Hugh Skinner who looks really familiar, and I didn't think to bring up his IMDb listing, but he is going to be playing Prince Radovid, King Visimir's son of Redania, who winds up getting caught up in the whole Redanian intelligence. And we know that this upcoming season has, I can't think of his name, it's Graham McTavish playing Dijkstra, the head of Redanian intelligence. So I'm looking forward to this season. I think having young Radovid, who, if you've played The Witcher 3 or read the novels, isn't a stable individual, is great. I'm really glad that they brought that in there, and that they're getting more into the Scoia'tael storyline, which is a big part of The Witcher 2. So Robbie Amell, good for you. All right, this very much intrigues me. That is the cover of Ta-Nehisi Coates' The Water Dancer, a sort of historical fantasy novel, his debut novel. The news is that this is going to be adapted into a movie for MGM by Nia DaCosta. Nia DaCosta, who directed Candyman, the most recent reboot of that, and is currently working on The Marvels, the Captain Marvel sequel. Harry, get well soon. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It might just be allergies, because dang it, it's spring. But I know it's not COVID. I tested myself a couple of days ago, because I had a con last weekend, and you never know. Not last weekend, 2 weekends ago. But anyway, so the story of The Water Dancer, it's a story of Hiram Walker. He was born into, they say, bondage. I'm assuming he was born as a slave. As a child, he loses his mother and over time loses all memory of her. Now a young man, Hiram almost drowns when he crashes a carriage into a river, but is saved from the depths by a mysterious power he never realized he had and struggles to understand. So, yeah, definitely a historical fantasy kind of novel. Number 1 New York Times bestseller as a debut novel. So I'm looking forward to this. I haven't read it, and so I think I'm going to wait and watch the movie first, just so I don't have certain expectations because of the book, before I eventually get into the book. All right, this is an interesting bit of casting. So the young man in the middle there is Levi Miller. You might remember him from Pan, the weird Peter Pan retelling with Hugh Jackman as Hook, and he played young Pan. You also might remember him from A Wrinkle in Time. He has been cast, according to an exclusive from Deadline, and Deadline, we'll get into another story that Deadline screwed up a couple of weeks ago. But they're usually really good about these exclusives. He has been cast as an unnamed character in the upcoming Kraven the Hunter movie, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson and a bunch of other people. We don't know who he's playing. This is my complete, absolute pulling it out of my tinfoil hat. But look at that face. I bet this is going to be the introduction of the post-Tom Holland Peter Parker in the Sony universe. Just a theory. Just based on what he looks like, his age, etc. But that's what I'm going with. Now, granted, it could very well be some character I just don't know that's, Kraven's son that we don't know that he has, or Kraven's brother's son, who knows? Because we do know that, I can't remember who, and I don't see it here, has been cast as Kraven's brother. But there is, that will be a big character. One would assume a big character in the movie. Who is the character Chameleon. So, this is Levi Miller. We'll find out when they announce what it is, and we'll let you know. But, I'm putting my, dollars to donuts right now that this is going to be the next Peter Parker. Harry, the Marvels will be a good sequel to Captain Marvel. I think so. I thought I would have to wait to see Monica Rambeau, Photon, or whatever they're going to be calling her, until the Marvels, but clearly that's going to be a character in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, so I don't have to wait that long. But I'm very much looking forward to have Kamala Khan, Carol Danvers, and Monica Rambeau all as superpowered Marvel-named characters, and again, they could screw it up, but I'm with you. I think this is going to be a good one. But anyway, we'll let you know whether or not that is what Levi Miller is playing, or if it's something that makes a lot more sense and is not quite as ridiculous. All right, moving on. And this is where Deadline screwed up. So this is Susan Sarandon from a recent movie in which she plays, the description was Sexy Grandma. And I'm not going to argue with that. The news here, as has been confirmed to apparently the Wrap, Susan Sarandon will be playing the villain in the upcoming Blue Beetle, Victoria Cord, a character invented for the movie but clearly intended to be Ted Kord's widow. Ted Kord being the original Blue Beetle. Well, actually not the original Blue... It's complicated. The most longest running Blue Beetle, head of Kord Industries. Anyway, Deadline had reported that Sharon Stone was about to close this deal just a couple of weeks ago. And apparently that didn't work out for whatever reason, and so now it's definitely Susan Sarandon, according to the Wrap, which says they have confirmed it. So August 18th of next year is when this movie comes out, in theory, assuming things don't get pushed out like they often do. Starring Zolo Maridueña from Cobra Kai, directed by Angel Manuel Soto, and just packed with Latin representation among the actors and characters around Jaime Reyes, who is the younger version of Blue Beetle. And very much looking forward to this. Anything Susan Sarandon does is fantastic. And I'm very keen on seeing this version of Jaime Reyes of Blue Beetle. All right, this just blew my mind. That is, of course, KJ Apa on the left, Archie from Riverdale. That is Isabel May, who is currently in 1883, the prequel to Yellowstone. And that thing in the middle is what they are going to be leading. They are going to be cast as, respectively, Zan and Jaina, the Wonder Twins, in an upcoming Wonder Twins HBO Max movie. There is no possible way this could be good. It couldn't be. It could be so bad it's funny, but it's the Wonder Twins. The description in this Deadline story, which may come from the actual description of the stuff put out by HBO Max, includes Gleek, their monkey. It is being directed by the guy who co-wrote Black Adam, so we don't know how good that is, but Rampage, Adam Shtakiel, and it will be his directorial debut, the first thing he's ever directed. I'm not saying this is set up for complete and utter failure, but I'm not saying it. It could be good, it could be funny, it could be exciting, it could be like the amazing sleeper hit of whatever year it happens to come out. Odds, unfortunately, are not with it. So yeah, we'll tell you, anything more that we hear about it. But I am not confident in the quality of this upcoming Wonder Twins movie. All right, one thing I am confident in is this next thing, and Netflix just dropped a trailer for Season 3 of Love, Death, and Robots, which is coming right up, literally a month away, May 20th. The trailer is actually really funny. It sort of makes fun of Netflix prestige movies like The Crown, or prestige series like The Crown, like Queen's Gambit, and so on. And then, it's like, and of course, then there's these robots. But it also shows these were guys that were in a previous season. And so clearly there's going to be some new stories with existing previous characters. And I don't think it's just that one. They showed a couple of others, either showing what they've done in previous seasons. That might have been it. That might have been saying, hey, remember this? But they even showed the one where the guy with the android parts, who's immortal, as he walks up over this bluff looking down on this sort of alien Wild West-ish frontier town. So either they're expanding that story or they were just saying, hey, look, remember this? This was cool. But they also had the one also from last season of the noir detective tracking down people who are illegally having more children than they're supposed to. So whether this is going to pick up some of that previous IP and tell new stories around them, or they were just using that to sort of go, hey, remember this? But it's interspersed with, obviously, new stuff. So it's kind of confusing. We'll have to see, obviously, when it comes out May 20th, what the deal is. But I've loved the first two seasons. I thought the first season was a little bit more diverse in the animation styles. But I still loved the second season. Some of the stories were absolutely outstanding. Harry Brady, who is chomping at the bit to get to our next topic, Thor, Love and Thunder, says Thor, Love and Thunder will tell us about Gore, the God Butcher, the God Killer. Yes, that is true. Ivan, maybe they will do some crossover stories between some of the more popular sketches from season 1 and 2. That could be, although then they would have to decide which animation style they go with, because they're all so wildly different in animation styles. Harry, Riverdale is a fantastic series, and this cast surprises me when I saw this on the internet about the Wonder Twins movie supposed to come out this summer? I didn't see that in here. Let me go back and take another real quick look. I'll look that up for you. Production is set to begin this summer in Atlanta. So if production is going to start this summer in Atlanta, there's no way it's coming out this summer. So I'm guessing there's probably going to have to be a lot of special effects. So at the earliest, late 2023. But anyway, all right, that's enough of that. Everybody's chomping at the bit. Let's do it. This is, of course, the moment from the Thor Love and Thunder teaser that everybody went, yeah! Or at least I did. The Thor Love and Thunder teaser finally dropped with an awful lot of people. Of course, this is the internet. People were saying that there was a problem with the production because the teaser didn't drop, even though nobody at Marvel or Disney had promised a teaser. It's just there were a lot of people on the internet who said, oh yeah, there's a teaser that's going to happen over Easter weekend. And then when it didn't drop on Friday, people started losing their minds. And then articles started popping up about how there must be production problems because we didn't get a teaser. And the teaser dropped on Monday. Come on, guys. Jeez. And what did I think of it, Harry? Which is what you asked a half an hour ago. I loved it. I also was a little disappointed in that it didn't show me more of Jane Foster Thor. Although I get that, and that makes it, we got the reveal and just enough to get us really super excited about it, and that's it. And okay, I get it. It also reveals the hammer, which is the original Mjolnir. It's been put back together somehow, which is really cool. And I guess you can't destroy it just because Asgard was destroyed, which is where it was, I'm assuming, when it was destroyed. It's just a pile of stuff sitting in Asgard. So that's going to be part of the story, clearly. One of the other things that I was disappointed with is we do not see any of Gore the God Butcher. Now, there have been images that have been released online of what Christian Bale looks like, and of course he doesn't look like the one from the comic. It makes sense. The one from the comic is essentially a completely naked Voldemort kind of looking dude with a flat face and a black cape, and a sword. So, obviously they would have to redesign that, and I'm fine with that. But I would have liked to at least seen that as a teaser in here. Now, they do tease that it is definitely part of that story. You get a scene with Thor and Korg standing on a hill looking at the body of, I can't remember how to pronounce it, Zafalgar or something like that, the behemoth, which is, and it's almost a exact reproduction of the panel from the God Butcher arc in which Gore the God Butcher comes from. And I think that's really wonderful that they did that. I also wonder where, Fat Thor is working out with the chains, using these gigantic chains like, exercise ropes. Whatever that thing that was chained up in that cave kind of looks an awful lot like King Kong. Just saying. Obviously it can't be. They would wind up getting sued. Maybe it is actually something from the Thor mythos that I didn't know about. Oh, and even though it's not a chariot, it's a boat, Thor's goats pulling his ship around. Yes. Thank you. I loved that part. There's so many wonderful things in here. It was funny to see the interaction with the Guardians, of course. I'm guessing that's not going to be a terribly long part of the movie, because the teaser sets up that Thor is on this journey of rediscovery, and it looks like that starts while he is with the members of the Guardians. Both the commentary about, looking in the eyes of the people that you love, which is a really funny, moment, and of course all of the Peter Quill Thor shippers just went nuts when that happened. But also the fact that, they all attack something in this one scene, and he just grabs Stormbreaker and goes, nah, and walks in the other direction. Luminous, welcome to the show, or at least welcome to the chat. We are wrapping up. I'm solo, and it was a fairly short week, so. But yes, we are talking about Thor, and Ivan missed a couple of things here, but I just don't want Natalie's hammer to be explained with multiverse. I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's going to be, because clearly it is a rebuilt hammer. You can see it in, the sort of lightning glow from the broken parts. Makes it kind of look like an electrical version of that Japanese art where they put broken pottery together with gold, which is really neat. And Ivan, there were enough MCU actors in Kong that Disney could claim it was a Marvel movie. That is also true. Well, they had Loki, they had Captain Marvel. So those are the things that that's what I thought about it, Harry. I really liked it. I am not at all worried about the tone. It's fairly light in tone, this teaser, which makes it look like the funnier parts of Ragnarok. But people often forget that Ragnarok was, at times, deadly serious. It revealed Odin's warlike past. It saw the death of Odin. A very touching scene. Mjolnir gets destroyed. Asgard gets destroyed. It is a very impactful and emotional movie that isn't all just funny, but boy, does have a lot more funny than an awful lot of other MCU movies, which is why a lot of people, I think, only remember the funny. And plus, Jeff Goldblum. Just so over the top. Harry, yes, let's go. Jane Foster, Mighty Thor looks awesome, and so excited for this movie after Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Me too. Taika Waititi is amazing as a director, as a writer, as an improv actor. I can't wait to find out what Korg says, because he didn't write a word of it. He didn't write a word of any of his Korg dialogue in Ragnarok. So that's it, folks. That's what I think of, and I hope you guys agree to some extent of the Thor Love and Thunder teaser and the other topics that we've done tonight. Since I've already done the promos, I don't have to do that. I will just promo some of our upcoming cons. This weekend, starting in 2 days, actually, we'll be at PAX East. I'll be in my usual spot, that seating area off to the right, once you walk into the main entrance, the main lobby. And Saturday, 7:30 in the Arachnid Theater, we have our cosplay and photography shootout. We are limiting it to 10 teams because we only have an hour this year. So if you want to be on the team, either as a cosplayer or leading it as a photographer, come and sign up early. So, Harry, the second trailer wheel shows more of the characters in the trailer showing Gore the God Butcher and Mighty Thor. There hasn't been a second trailer. So I'm not really sure what you mean by that. There may be somebody, a lot of the people on YouTube will put together a enhanced trailer that adds, still images from stuff that's already been put out. So that might be what you're referring to. Or unless you're referring to a foreign teaser release, which does happen where sometimes they put in stuff, as we discovered with the Spider-Man No Way Home teaser from Brazil, where we got to see people fighting that we didn't see in the actual, or longer examples of the fight that we didn't see in the American release. Anyway, PAX East. Saturday, 7:30, cosplay and photography shootout. Be there. While everybody is out running their stuff, the amazing Gogo Incognito, who is one of our panelists, will be doing a cosplay posing panel. So even if you don't want to watch the hilarity of a bunch of cosplayers and photographers trying to figure out how to do a picture about whatever topic we decide in 20 minutes, you'll get a 20-minute panel on posing from one of the best cosplay posers in the business. So then I will be at Double Midnight Comics, I'm pretty sure, on May 7th for Free Comic Book Day. Then we will be at Anime Boston because Nerd Caliber and me personally will be running. I personally will be running the photo department. So Nerd Caliber will be in room 102, the cosplay photo suite. That is where you will come to get your free photos. We will not be out in the community row hallway. So room 102, just around the rotunda, from the entrance long hallway. Pretty easy to find. So we will see you at that con. And that said, thank you everybody for all the wonderful chat. Thank you everybody for joining us. Please stay safe. We'll see you in an upcoming show. Oh, and there is no show this Thursday. There is no Full Fat Spoiler Chat because of PAX East. So our next show will be next Monday, which is No Nerd Caliber, which he says he should have had up and running. And it will be... top 3 family in danger stories in any media. We'll have to see about that. That may change because I think we're going to be changing our topic for next Thursday, not this coming Thursday. It was supposed to be the series From, which is on one of those like epics or something like that. And I think we might, since we're going to be missing DMZ this Thursday, I think I might try to talk our team into moving DMZ over to next Thursday. It's only 4 episodes, so 4 hours worth of commitment, but it's an amazing series. Harry Brady, what's next week's topic as far as news? Hasn't happened yet, so we don't know. So we'll let you know when next week rolls around. I mean, there could be stuff that literally happened while I was on here for the last 40 minutes, but yeah. Anyway, so we'll see you in an upcoming show at an upcoming con.